living like the winter do.
See me with the crew, had to get some food. I see you looking like you do. Had to make a move. Still I gotta grow in a Jimmy Choo. Break the rules, no you're not a fool, but I'm in the mood.
What's up, y'all? State Almighty, aka the Global Dark Skin Ambassador. And listen, I got at least 3, maybe 5 reasons why I'm 90% sure Rikers Island will die and won't make it to 2023. May not make it past 2022. I got a couple reasons why, and the reason why I'm making this video is because I want to highlight the fact that the culture of Rikers Island is not rehabilitative. It does more harm than good. It's not safe for inmates and officers alike, and it's bigger than the inmates and officers. It's a New York City DOC thing. So without further ado, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. In no particular order, these are the reasons why Rikers Island won't last past 2023, all right? Now, the first reason is they supposed to be done by 2026 anyway. Now, things don't always go to plan, but I've said before that I feel like there's a lot of money to be made and a lot of money that needs to be acquired for this to be done. And the real people who have the real pulse on this situation and really press the buttons, I kind of feel like they waiting for something really bad to happen so a law could get passed and a bill could get granted that's gonna give the DOC a whole lot of money to play with. I think that the plans of possibly even including names of what these new jails are gonna be, because you know they're gonna have new jail in the main 4 boroughs, and I believe they know where it's gonna be at. I believe, you know, they have names set up. You know, I believe all that place has been selected, but they waiting, they holding out for more money, and they allowing stuff to happen. So the number one reason is that everything going on right now that's terrible has been pre-planned to happen and is deliberately not getting dealt with. Because if they dealt with it, then why would they even be ending Rikers Island in the first place, right? Boom. Second reason, overcrowding, okay? Overcrowding, way too many inmates for officers to handle. Now, from my research, I've seen that they closed down a couple buildings, which means that if inmates were in those buildings, then they had to move those inmates somewhere where there was already inmates, you know? Rikers Island is closing down. They're not gonna close down a building and then reopen a new one when they already had them inmates in one building already. They're not gonna do that. So being that they had to move inmates to a whole nother place where extra inmates is at, so now you have a breeding ground for extra gang activity, extra unnecessary violence, extra pressure on the officers, because you know, the bad things that go on in Rikers Island is not just about the inmates, you know. The officers too, you know, they got families, they got children, they got parents, they got people who they love and people who love them. It's too crowded, way more inmates than the COs can handle. Which brings me to number 3. The COs have all but quit working, pretty much, you know, because drug usage is going up. And people who are on drugs do crazy things, they do stupid things, they do dangerous things, which means that all 3 of those reasons, COs have to deal with that situation, and it's potentially dangerous for them, especially the women. Also, some of them have been exposed to COVID, and the others are using COVID as an excuse to not come to work and be on paid leave. And being that COs are not coming to work, that's less regulations, that's less control that's going to be had over inmates and reckless inmates, you know, and that's going to lead to more violence, more unruly behavior, period, you know. And I'm going to end this with fourth reason why Rikers Island is not going to make it past 2023 is because the DOC, Mayor de Blasio, the NYPD, whoever, nobody is really taking accountability, and that's a fact. Nobody's taking accountability for all the bad things that's going on in Rikers Island. If you want to add a fifth one, you could say the drug usage, because they did have their 10th death in 9 months, and this one was drug related. You got inmates going on TikTok and they're recording themselves fighting and partying and smoking and stuff like that, and it's not weed, it's K2. They getting blazed off the K2, and you know, as somebody who's done K2 probably twice in my life, it's not lit, you know what I'm saying? But going back to accountability, Mayor de Blasio, the boss of the jails, the Department of Corrections of New York, no one's holding accountability. Everybody's pointing the finger at each other, and they really brushing everything under the rug. The worst of the worst has not been seen yet, and the worst of the worst has probably yet to happen. It's a real slippery slope, real tricky situation. And like I said, it's the officers, it's you know, the physicians who be in it, it's the nurses, it's the regular people as well as the inmates who get affected the worst, you know, because they get paid the least, especially the inmates, you know what I'm saying? But they have to deal with the most BS, you know, and that's not fair for them. It's just real dangerous, and we need to start a hashtag or something, man, like Rikers Island must die or something, like the whole institution of Rikers Island needs to be canceled, and we can't just put all the same COs in these places. There needs to be new evaluation processes, more thorough background checks, because if you ask me, if there's any inkling that a CO may be affiliated in a gang, they should not be allowed to work in law enforcement at all. If you were ever known to be associated with a gang, that just contributes to the higher amounts of drug usage in Rikers Island and all jails, period. What I'm saying should apply to all jails. You know, it contributes to the violence that's caused by the drug trade, and you know, it's just not beneficial at all. If you ask me, they should be releasing some of these inmates and letting them go home. Like I said in the earlier video, if they're not locked up for like crimes against children, crimes against women, if they're not locked up for really violent crimes like murder, attempt murder, aggravated assault, things like that, and they just have like little petty drug charges and stuff like that, they should be let home to their families in the meantime, and let them be on the most strict house arrest, period, you know, just to make it safer for the inmates and the officers who are lower in numbers, you know, like it makes all this the perfect amount of sense in the world for me, unless they keeping them ganged up together and waiting for something bad to happen, you know, because everyone knows you get too many of anyone in one confined space, you know, there's bound to be trouble, man, woman, or child, you know. Picture a jail cell or a cell house, 20, 30, 40 50 men locked up in one place. Some of these dudes are hyper masculine because they've been through things in their childhood. Some of these dudes are on the down low and frustrated, right? Some of these dudes are not on the down low, but frustrated because they contemplate snitching, all type of stuff, you know? And they gotta deal with a whole bunch of extra aggressive, smelly men around them, you know? It's a breeding ground for trouble. And something needs to be done about it properly to better suit everyone involved, you know? The inmates, the nurses, and officers included. Something's gotta give. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Peace.